To so many, it is traditional to ring in the new year by celebrating with friends and family while enjoying libations. While in moderation, this is okay, the Elmira Police Department would like to take this time to remind all of those who plan on partaking in celebrations to have a plan for after the ball drops.
We always encourage, if you're gonna, enjoy and drink alcohol, do it in moderation. But plan ahead, so have, a designated driver. If no one wants to be the person to designate drive, set up a ride share. If you can get an Uber or a Lyft, the taxi services, or just have a family or friend like, hey, if I'm out, can you come pick me up and get me home safely, or have a place to go. So if you get a ride, so you don't have to drive all over the place, stay at friends or family someplace. If you can walk somewhere, obviously that's encouraged, but designated driver, and just set a plan ahead of time, so when the night ends, you're not scrambling and making a bad decision to drive yourself home.
Even after a few drinks, you should leave the driving to a sober friend, family member, or rideshare driver, as you are never truly yourself after ingesting alcohol. Tracy Miller, the unit director of Addictions Rehab Unit at Arnot Health, explains how alcohol affects everyone differently.
Certain medications can cause problems with alcohol. Men and women, your body mass index, any health conditions you have. The other factor to that is how often do they drink? Is this somebody that has never drank before? Well, you definitely don't want 5 drinks. Or is it somebody that just drinks socially 4 times a year? Still, 1 or 2 drinks is going to tip you around a little bit. So there's just so many factors to this, how often somebody actually drinks. Have they ever drank? Medical conditions, their body mass. There's just so many variables.
All of these factors can really play into your blood alcohol content level, which is a big factor when you consider getting behind the wheel.
So the legal limit for like a DWI, arrest, we always go for the 0.08 blood alcohol content. Anything 0.08 or above, obviously we can arrest people for DWI and any other charges that come along with that, depending on what the offense would be that led us up to encountering that person. We can arrest for DWAI, driving while ability impaired, for 0.06 and above. And then there are some lower levels based on if we can show that, maybe a level was lower, BAC was a little lower, but we can improve intoxication, different people, sizes, just their history and how alcohol affects them. We can show that they were intoxicated even with a lower level. There's some different charges that go along with things like that.
So what signs should you be looking for or watching out for if you are the one drinking or the one watching someone drink that you aren't sure if they have a plan in place after the party?
Your initial signs would be, in all honesty, those warm, fuzzy feelings people get. Starting to feel relaxed, if you will. So if you are starting to feel relaxed, you don't need to relax more because you're just going to get sick. If your gait is different, if you're dropping things, you're feeling nauseous.
Not only are these good warning signs to look for when drinking, but they can also play into those who have decided to participate in smoking or ingesting marijuana. Sergeant Zelko says they are also looking out for this year after the legalization of marijuana in New York State.
If we're pulling cars over and we see people have, different, signs that they're impaired, we'll usually rule out alcohol first, and then we go from there. And we can kind of tell if people are smoking marijuana while they're driving. Obviously, there's the odor of marijuana that kind of can point us in the direction. We can usually tell by people's eyes and how they're talking, speech, if it's slurred, things like that, if it's maybe prescription pills or whether they are prescribed to them or not. We can tell when people are under the influence and they shouldn't be driving. And once we rule out alcohol, then our course of action is a little different, but it results in the same, charge with a different substance.
Sergeant Zelko also wanted to reinforce how life-changing it can be to be pulled over for a DUI or a DWAI. These are misdemeanors, which come with costly charges and consequences. They can only get worse when accidents happen, resulting in worse charges or even worse, possible loss of life. So before you even leave for your parties this year, please have a plan in place to get home safe or stay with a friend. The price of a rideshare will always be cheaper than the price of costing someone their life. For the City of Elmira, I'm Christina Episcopo.